Welcome once again to another episode of Fists, Kicks, and Flicks, the podcast about martial arts, movies, and life. I am one of your hosts, Eugene Plowden, and with me, as always, my podcast partner, Mike Gibbs. What's happening, Mike?
What's going on, Gene?
Cool, man. I'm cool. If this is your first time with us, I want you to know we're members of the Martial Arts Internet Network. On Mondays, you got Raw with Mimi and Lump. Tuesday is CTE with Chris and Travis Experience. Wednesday is us, Fists, Kicks, and Flicks with Gene and Mike. And Thursdays, you can get the Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. For more information, you can check us out on all of our social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Just look for Martial Arts Internet Network. Mike, it's showtime. Okay.
What showtime?
Okay, people. We have an interesting situation right now. Okay, so if you're listening right now, if you're staying on top of everything, this is the 4th of July. So happy 4th of July to everybody listening. We normally put our podcast out on Wednesdays. Right now it's Wednesday, and we're actually recording it. Yesterday, my podcast partner sent me a text message and said there's no way he can get through Ip Man. Okay? And he made a suggestion that we watch Lionheart instead, and I'm not happy with you, Mike. Mike, you know what? Okay, let's get into it, man. Okay. Here we go.
I don't have the attention span to watch a movie and then do closed captions because I'm trying to read it, and I'm not the best reader. I'm not gonna lie. And so I'm reading it, and then I'm like, okay, did I understand that right? And then I look, it's already the next scene. I don't even know who the fuck they're talking about. So I have a headache. I don't know if I'm dyslexic. What the fuck's going on? But I couldn't read this shit, and I wasn't going to do it. You were about to go solo. I actually texted you and said, I believe I said I hate you.
Yeah, you did. You did.
Yeah, I hated you. If you would have... No, Lionheart... I don't care. It's in English, and we can watch it, and it could be a shitty movie. I actually like it. I have the Attila glasses on right now. I'm looking like Attila, minus the hair.
Okay.
I like Cat.
Mike, I don't like this movie. I did not like Lionheart one bit, and I'm
it.
No, man, no, because I think because we saw Kickboxer. We saw Bloodsport, and we saw Fearless Tiger. And this movie was all of those movies. It was all of them wrapped up together.
I love it.
Oh, my God, man.
It has a story. It has a story. It's awesome.
All right, listen, man. Listen. Now, after watching, I haven't even finished watching the movie, man. I have not finished watching the movie. I'm 100% serious. I don't even really have notes. I am going to freestyle this podcast. I have no idea how this podcast is going to go. I don't have notes.
Gosh.
I don't have notes for Ip Man. I don't have notes to this.
Oh, my gosh.
So, when you texted me yesterday morning, I was getting ready to do my second watch through and take my notes.
Hold on. You made it through one viewing?
Yep.
I remember when it came out, and I believe somebody, I don't know, it was years ago. I think it came out in what, 06, 08?
I have no idea.
I don't know if it's my son and I went to the theater, but I remember leaving the theater.
You went to the movie to the theater to watch this?
Yes.
And you had to read the subtitles?
I left.
Oh.
That's why I threw a fit when you said Ip Man like a couple weeks ago. I was like, what? Right. No. I thought I could get through it this time, but I guess my brain hasn't matured.
Well,
because that shit was poison.
Well, I was like you at first. When I had to read and I saw that it was subtitles, I was like, oh my God, what have I done? I was like, oh man. Then I thought, you know what? We watched the movie recently and it started off in subtitles, and then it switched over to English.
What movie was that?
I mean, you know what? It might have been a movie that I was watching on my own. Now that I think about it, but it was some movie I was watching, and it switched over. And you kind of it was kind of sweet how they did it, because they were talking in whatever language they were talking in, and then they were rotating the camera around, and as they were rotating the camera, their language switched to English. So I thought that was pretty sweet. I can't remember what movie that was that I was watching, and they did that. But so I thought at some point in time, because we're watching it on Netflix, or at least I was, I just figured, okay, sooner or later, this is going to be English. This movie's going to be in English.
Mm-hmm.
No, not at all. But you know what's weird? I enjoyed the movie. I read this whole damn movie, and I watched it. I was entertained. I even watched the second movie, Ip Man 2.
What?
And this movie, I haven't finished that one, but I saw the majority of it. Now that movie was in English.
Yeah.
No subtitles.
I've seen the other ones because the fight scenes are.
Wait. Hold on. Time out. Wait.
I've seen like the Revenge. What is it? Revenge, and I don't remember what they're called.
Mike.
Yes.
Why would you ever watch the second, third, or fourth movie if you didn't like the first one? Like I would have never gave it
the fight scenes are very well choreographed.
Yeah, That's
why. I mean, they're sweet. And so far, out of all the movies we've reviewed, that the fight scenes are the best in Ip Man.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, they are. I mean, but I can't read that shit, man. I mean, closed captions on like my regular TV, I throw a fit. My dad used to come down to let my dogs out, and he would somehow mess up my TV, and there'd be closed captions on me. I'd be so pissed because I didn't know how to get them off.
Right.
I can't stand that.
Okay.
Hey, Rocky could be in closed caption, and I wouldn't watch it.
Well, you should still be able to follow it pretty good, though.
Yeah, I mean, I gave it. I'm not gonna lie. I gave it an honest try. I watched 25 minutes of it. And then I couldn't do it. I'm like, all right. So who is that person? And then I when I quit is when they were kind of showing what had happened to his instructor in the beginning. Like when he was when Ip Man was younger, and they were kind of showing how he come up. Or did I just fuck that up and that was Ip Man?
Oh, I don't even remember that. Like what you're talking about right now, I don't even remember that part.
Hey, I might have been watching Bolo. I don't know.
So, let's talk about the movie a little bit. So supposedly this was Bruce Lee's instructor, right?
That's what they say. I don't know if he was or not.
Right. Well, at the end of the movie, they show a picture of them together. So I don't know if he trained him or at some point in time Bruce Lee worked out with him or if he looked at him as his instructor. I don't know. I haven't researched it, so I'm not sure or not. But there was a picture at the end of the movie with them two together. So it starts in the 1930s, at the end of the 1930s. And Ip Man is he looks like he's rich. Unless I missed it, I don't know what he did to get the money that he had. Originally, I thought he had a martial arts dojo in this little town because there were like a bunch of other little dojos, and they all were like almost like in a cul-de-sac almost, because they were like in a circle, and all of the martial arts students were training. Mike, did you not watch the first? I'm looking at your facial expression right now,
bro. I think I watched the wrong shit. To be honest with you, because this motherfucker was at some like gathering and scratched some man's record, and some chick had to pay for it because he was poor.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Man, I'm telling you.
Wait a minute. Did you watch this on Netflix?
Yes.
I did too.
They're all on Netflix.
Yeah, they are on Netflix.
Yeah. I watched the right shit, man.
But I don't remember that part you're talking about.
Listen, the part about there's a lady, there's a Chinese woman, and I believe her sister, and they're at like some fair thing in the street. Some guy selling like a record player, and he accidentally scratches it, and he says you're gonna have to pay for the damaged record, and he don't have the money, and the woman who has a crush on him kind of is like okay, and Spot pays for it. Man,
No, I don't know about none of that at all. When I started,
he had on a gray suit, right?
he,
A gray like kung fu
uh,
outfit or whatever you call them, like a
yeah,
traditional garb. Man, I know I
yeah,
watched the
but
right shit. There's only one. It was made in 2008. That was the first one.
okay. I don't know
Anyways,
why.
in caption, I wasn't watching the shit.
So I wonder, what did you see after that?
He got in a street fight. There was a street fight.
Uh-huh.
Some guy tried to like press up on the Chinese lady, and it man whooped the shit out of him.
Man, I did not see none of that. When I
Man,
start,
I wonder if you watched the wrong one.
it could be possible that I watched the wrong, but I don't think so because when I saw the second one started with the first one where I saw left off. So I don't know.
Hitman 2 was 2010. I'm pulling it up right now.
Okay.
Keep going though. I'm gonna try to find
Okay.
it.
Okay. So it was like a cul-de-sac, and it was like all of these different martial arts schools. They're outside. They're doing their martial arts. One individual, I can't remember his name. He goes to Itman. He goes to his mansion that he's living in, and he wants to train with him. Um, Itman invites him in and says, "Well, I'm eating. We're about to sit down and eat right now. We can train later." So the guy says, "Okay." He sits down. Itman and his family eat. And then he turns around and asks him if he wants to join them. He says, yeah. So he comes and sits down with the family. He eats also. And then after they eat, his wife is kind of looking at him a little funny because she feels that he's doing too much martial arts. She's doing too much kung fu. And she wants him to spend more time with her and his young son. So, well, she leaves. They train, and Edmond beats the guy up, right? He doesn't beat him up bad because they're like sparring. So it's like someone coming to your school and asking to spar with you. So it was like that. He wasn't trying to hurt him. Now, meanwhile, outside there was a young man flying a kite, and his kite gets stuck in a tree. So he climbs up. He climbs up the wall and climbs into the tree to get his kite, and he looks inside of the mansion and he sees Ipman and the other guy sparring. Now the other guy also has a martial arts dojo also. So this man is this kid is the only person that sees these two fighting, and he sees Ipman beat him. So he was like, wow, Ipman is, the greatest, martial artist. So he runs down, he goes and tell everyone what he just saw. And then the guy was happy that he worked out with Ipman, and he told him like, please don't tell anyone what happened. And Ipman was like, no, this is just between us. I won't tell anyone. Meanwhile, the little boy is telling everyone what happened, that this instructor got beat up by Ipman. So Ipman, the next day, Ipman goes with his brother to lunch, and they're talking. And I guess his brother wanted to borrow some money or something like that. I was trying, just like you, I was trying to read everything as best as I could.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the rumors start spreading that, man, I really want to. Do you have the IMDb pulled up for Itma? Okay.
Is this like when he was in the bar in the beginning?
Well, it kind of, because Itman and his brother were like in a restaurant.
Yeah.
And they were like upstairs. And then the other guy was somewhere else, but stuff started spreading around that he had got beat by Ip Man and they had gotten back to him. So he said, "Who told you this?" And he found out who was spreading these rumors. So he goes out into the community and he says, like, who told you that Ip Man beat me up? And who won? He won, and he said, and the guy who had been telling the rumors was the other guy's big brother. So the guy that had the kite, he told his brother, and his brother was just running off at the mouth telling everyone. So he asked him who told him, and he said, "My brother told you." Anyway, they ended up going into the restaurant and asking Ip Man about it, and everyone came in and they wanted Ip Man to confirm, what had happened, and he wouldn't say that, he beat up the guy. The guy felt that his reputation was messed up, and it was going to mess up his martial arts school. So he was concerned about those rumors. And
the guy, after the restaurant scene, the student ran up to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember all that.
Okay. So, as far as, I don't know, man, maybe I had been sipping on a little something, so I don't know. Trying to sip and watch and read, and, I could have missed that other part that you were talking about. But, I mean, I didn't know what to expect with this movie, so, I kind of enjoyed it, as, once you get past having to read the subtitles and everything. Right. I mean, it just took a swerve, and then also with the historical parts with it of this movie. I have absolutely no idea what Ip Man did or why he was so rich. Everyone loved him.
Right.
Eventually, some other guys come to the town, and they wanted to open up their own dojo. But
in order, it's crazy though with that scene. How they had everyone in the street was doing kung fu.
Yes, it was crazy as hell.
I was like, what the hell is that?
Like, can you imagine that? Because how does a person decide what school to go train at, what dojo to go train at? They're all there. They're all outside. Yeah. They're all right next door to each other, like in this circle, and they're all doing martial arts outside at the same time. I was wondering when I was looking at that, like how would a new person decide what dojo to train at?
Right.
I don't know. But yeah,
it was just more of a way of life than, I don't know.
Yeah.
I wonder if it was really like that.
Yeah, who knows, So then a new guy comes to town, and he's going around challenging all of the masters of these dojos, and he's beating these guys up. Yeah, he is. And he beat up the guy who had just sparred with Ip Man.
But that was cool fight scene though. I enjoyed those because he hit the guy with the back kick right from the beginning. The fight scenes are awesome.
Yeah, and he went to each person and challenged them. And what's weird is, well, not really weird, but that it used to be like that in the 70s and 80s. I've heard of that before. People going to martial arts schools and challenging the instructors. That's not happening now. I don't think anybody. That's not gonna end nicely for you if you walk into somebody's school and challenge the head instructor, the owner, the master. That's ridiculous. I have actually seen, but you know what? The people who I've actually seen online do that, they are not real martial artists. They're like bums who want to be martial artists or tough guys, and they think they can go into somebody's school. And I've seen people get wore out.
Like the one guy, it's online, that went into Eddie Bravo's jiu-jitsu school, and they Eddie Bravo beats him up.
Mm-hmm. We had an issue like that of back in the day. We had some kung fu guys.
I was gonna bring it up.
Oh, you were there? You remember that?
No, I got the videotape of it.
You got the video? Am I on it? Because I fought him. Okay, I got to see that, Mike.
I have the video of it. You guys are sick. You guys recorded it.
I didn't know that. Like, I didn't remember that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't remember that.
You ski, and then afterward. So I'm just gonna say what happened. So then afterwards, you guys beat the shit out of them. Well, you guys started fighting, and the kung fu master was in the corner, and you guys were beating him up, and he comes on the floor, and he says, "Hold on, hold on. If we're gonna start fighting like this, we're gonna put on some different gear because we're not gonna fight like this with these little foam gloves on."
Mm-hmm.
And you guys are like, "Bet." And then you guys beat the shit out of him. It was basically you and Ski beating the shit out of everyone.
Yeah, because you know why? Because me and Ski were in college when they originally first came. So it got back to us that some kung fu guys had, and I think they were friends of Peter Davenport. Pete brought them. There were people who went to school with him or something. And it had got back to us that these guys were coming in, wilding out in the school. I'm like, oh no, they can't nobody just come into our house and trip. So we came to hurt people, not our family.
You guys did. And then after the video, Ski comes over. I don't know who had the camera. Comes over and says something to the camera, and then you cut like a wrestling promo on their ass and shit. I'll try to find it, man. It's hilarious. Yeah, it might be at my dad's or my storage unit. But man, oh my god!
Yeah, I remember that. I remember beating the mess out of them. You just can't. You can't do that, man. You can't come into somebody else's school, man. Especially if you're invited. If you're a guest and you want to just start throwing crazy stuff.
I whipped somebody's behind one time because this guy was coming down training at your uncle's school and acting like he was, part of the program. And we went to a tournament and I lost. It was a local tournament too. Everyone lost. No one from the school won. And I'll just say it was one of Jackie King's people won. And they celebrated in the ring in front of us. And this guy ran over and started. I think it was me, Travis. I won heavyweight. I think Travis won middleweight, and somebody won lightweight.
Okay.
But he beat me, beat Travis, and beat the senior. And the guy that was training with us, like coming down on fight nights, went over and was celebrating with him.
What? One of our people?
It wasn't one of our people.
But
it was just if he came, somebody. He had been coming down religiously, and someone has said, next time he comes to the school, he don't walk out.
Yeah,
I took that literally. Like someone said that to me, and I don't think they meant it, and I took that literally. And the next time he came, someone that had told me that wasn't even at the school. And I was like, and I'm looking around, and I'm like the only one there. I don't know where everyone was at, and I'm like, well, he's not gonna walk out. He's not gonna walk.
Hey, well, I'm up. Tell me off mic. Who that was.
I'm not committing myself.
Yeah, man.
Just like I'll never play a video of you doing those kung fu guys like that.
You never know because we sure enough wasn't signing waivers back in the day coming into school.
You guys beat the shit out of the kung fu people though.
Yeah. So this guy goes around, he's challenging, and then he finds out that Ip Man is the number one fighter in this little town or whatever, and then he makes his way up to his mansion and he challenges him. He didn't want to fight at first. He was trying to blow it off. But his wife gave him the okay to go ahead to do it. She just said, don't break up our stuff,
Mm-hmm.
And then they fought, and Ip Man, beat him up. Now, what's interesting is they didn't do it in front of the people. They had...
they were like in the restaurant type thing.
That was his house.
Was that his house?
Yes, that was his house, because they mentioned it later on that when he loses the house. So that was his house. That was his mansion.
Oh, okay.
So he had the police take everyone out because the whole town came to his mansion. They were standing there in the middle of his mansion wanting to watch his fight, but he told them to leave. So the police officers took everyone out except for this guy's people. So I'm talking off the top of my head, people, so I don't have my notes. So it was just the guy and his friends who came with him who were able to stay in Ip Man's mansion and watch this fight between Ip Man and this other guy.
Well, you're not going to talk about the important part of that fight, though?
With the little boy?
No, when Ip Man is working him, and his people pick him up, and he has that sword.
Oh yeah, that was a sweet part.
Man,
when he kind of kicked it, kicked it out. That was sweet.
The whole sword fighting thing.
Yeah.
Let's just review Ip Man. I think I saw enough of it. We can, and then we'll do Lionheart again. You know what I'm saying? Because we're almost like, how far are we into the movie? Like, I guess I watched more than I thought.
Well, we're not even at the halfway mark, honestly, though.
Oh, it's a long movie.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, I'm going off the top of my head, and I don't have a lot of notes, so we actually be able to get through. I was going to run through most of this movie, and because that damn Van Damme movie. Oh, anyway,
we're doing it. We're doing it in 2 weeks.
Oh my God, Mike. So, after the fight, so Ip Man beats up this guy. He walks out. And as he walks out of Ip Man's mansion, everyone wants to know who won, but then they look at his face and they can see that he is looking defeated. So they know that, Ip Man must have won, because look how he's looking, look how he's walking away, So then they start applauding, and Ip Man, he comes out, he's walking through the community, everyone's giving him free stuff, and they're loving him, and it was like, hooray, a wonderful day. And I was thinking, like, wow, this seemed like the end of the movie. Like, wow, the credits about to roll.
Everyone was asking for him to train them.
Yeah. And then that's another thing. He was not an instructor. He didn't want to have a school. He didn't want to teach people. I guess he just sparred with martial artists and gave them pointers, this, that, and the other. But he really did not have a school like everyone else had. And then the Japanese attack. I guess I'm assuming this must have been around World War II times.
It's a crazy scene when they attack too, because it's right after this, a little bit after this, where I quit watching. They shot that person in the street.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that? They assassinated that person in the street. I was like, man.
Yeah. So they pretty much took over this little village. Ip Man lost his mansion, and he was pretty much poor. He was broke. He had no money. Everyone is scattered everywhere, because later on, as we see Ip Man walking around, he's running into people, and people are remembering him or recognizing him. And it led me to believe that they hadn't seen him in a while,
Right.
So him and his wife and his little kid, they are, man, they're living like, man, I mean, it looked like their house or apartment or whatever it was, it looked abandoned, the place where they were living. They didn't really have any money. It looks like everyone was just surviving off of rice. Because anytime you did any type of work, that was your payment, was rice, a bag of rice. Ip Man decided that he needed to get some type of work, and he goes out to look for work. He didn't want to take charity, though, because his brother, he runs into his brother, and his brother, I guess Ip Man had gave his brother some money or something.
This is where I quit watching. He had a mill, like a grain mill.
Yes.
And he took him through the grain mill and showed him around and kind of like offered him a job. And then they talk. And then he said he considered him like a shareholder.
Right.
And then I think he just kind of like declined it. And then the little boy asked, why did you let Uncle Ip Man basically leave? And then that's where I quit watching.
Yeah. So, but it was weird. So, like, you have a percentage of this meal, this thriving business, and he doesn't take it. And I'm assuming, like I said, that was his brother, he gave his brother money. So he had some type of ownership in this meal. and he could have worked there, but he didn't. He went looking around for work.
Right.
I'll be damned if Trav got a business. If Travis has the martial arts internet work and it's blowing up, and he got employees, and I have no job, and I don't. There's no way I'm not going to take a job, with my brother, But he doesn't. He goes and he works in like a coal mine, and he's shoveling coal. That was the job he took.
Bro, let's back it up a minute.
Yeah.
If internet work blows up, Travis ain't giving none of us shit.
You think Travis gonna Suge Knight everybody?
That's Suge Knight Jr.
No. I have to come on mute for that. There's no way in the world I'm not doing. I'm taking care of everybody.
Yeah.
Oh,
he went to Michigan State.
I may not take care of. But other than that, I'm taking care of everybody.
And that's fucked up.
So, he decides that he's gonna go work in shoveling coal, and I was like, wow, that's messed up. That's crazy. When he's doing that, he sees people that he knows and he remembers, right? One of the guys that he sees is the young man who had been the brother of the young man who had saw the fight between Ip Man and the other guy at the beginning of the movie.
Oh, okay.
So he sees him and they're talking, and I can't remember if it was one scene or two scenes, one day or 2 days. I can't remember, but I think actually, you know what? I do remember. It was 2 days, because Ip Man was hungry one day and he was saving some food that I guess the job gave them food while they worked. So he was keeping some of the food to take home to his wife and kid. And the guy saw that, and he like cut some of his food in half and gave it to Ip Man. Said, "Oh, I can't eat all this. Here, share this with me." And he thanked them for it.
It was like a coworker.
Yeah, well, at this point, yeah, he was a coworker. They both were working, shoveling this coal, right? Mm-hmm. So eventually, some people, the guy who was, I think this was the guy who was part of the police force who helped get everyone out of his mansion when that fight between him and that visitor had came, when it happened. But now this guy is an interpreter for the Japanese army. So they see him, and now he's looking for fighters. The Japanese want to see Kung Fu, China martial arts versus Japanese martial arts. So they are looking for people to come to this temple and fight. Mm-hmm. So the kid who just gave Ip Man, his fruit, says that he wants to go. Also, he had just dropped his tin can. He was looking for his tin can, and he couldn't find it in this coal. That comes up later on. It's an importance to that part. Well, anyway, when they decide, when he decides that he wants to go fight, Ip Man doesn't want to go. He doesn't want to have anything to do with it. So he stays and shovels.
Why is he not wanting to fight?
I don't know. Unless I missed it, I don't know. I don't know what they said. But he didn't want to go fight. So, and you got rice if you won. You got rice. So, so they grab some guys and they go to this temple to fight. Once they get to the temple, they see the original guy who Ip Man had sparred with, the guy who came and sat and ate dinner with him. They see him and he's in the ring. He's fighting. And he's winning. He's beat up some people. And he gets his rice. And they see him. And they say, okay, he leaves. The other guy, he gets in the ring to fight also. And he's doing the best he can to fight. And he is fighting against the general, the Japanese general. The Japanese general comes down.
Oh, the Japanese general's in it?
Yes, he comes down and he wants to fight. And he beats this kid up. He beats him up bad. And I almost, I did not watch this movie more than once. So, excuse me if I'm messing up. But I believe that the general fought. I think he fought 3 of the Chinese people,
And he beat him
and
up.
I think 2 of them quit, except for the one guy who was with Ip Man, the guy that gave Ip Man his food. He stayed and he wanted to fight some more, and the general ended up killing him.
What?
He ends up dying. So later on, the next day at work, Ip Man is looking for him. He knows that he went with the Japanese people, but he doesn't see him at work. So when he sees the interpreter, he asks him like, "Hey, where's such and such? You know, he's not here. He went with you yesterday." And nobody is saying anything. Nobody's telling him what's going on. So he says, "Well, I want to go. I want to go. I want to fight. I want to find out what's going on." So they take him and they go to the temple. And in the temple, once again, the guy who he sparred at the beginning of the movie is in the ring again. He's fighting and he wins his fight. And he gets his rice and he's getting ready to leave. And he stops and he looks up at the general and says, "I want to fight 3 at one time." Right. The general says, "Okay." Now, the general's sidekick is an asshole. This guy does not like the Chinese people at all. He's a real asshole.
Right.
I have no idea why he was such an asshole. So the guy goes back in the ring to fight the 3 Japanese guys, and he's fighting them, but this time it's 3 of them, and they're beating him up, and he loses. And then he quits. He loses. He's walking to go get his rice from his earlier fights that he just won, and the general second in command shoots him in the head. He dies.
What?
Boom. He falls down. He's dead. He's bleeding on his rice. So Ip Man sees this. He's standing there. He's watching this. He's like, "Oh, what the hell?" So he's screaming like, "Why did y'all kill him? Like, you know, he lost. He quit. He was leaving. You know, why?" Nobody's answering. Nobody's saying why they killed him. So Ip Man's like, "Let me in. Let me fight. Let's go. Let me fight." So they're like, "Okay." They let him come into the ring. And he fights. And he says, I want 10 men. So they're like, what's going on? So they look up. The general says, "All right, cool. You get 10 of them." 10 people stand up, and he kills all of them. They not literally kills them, but he beats up all of these guys, these Japanese guys. He kicks their ass, beats them up real bad. And then the general is watching, and the general is impressed with him because this dude just beat up 10 of my guys. Like 10. Like, that's unheard of, you know? So everyone comes around to watch, and they're just amazed at what he's doing. And after he wins, he grabs the rice, and not his rice. They offered him his rice.
The other rice.
Yeah, for winning. He doesn't even take that rice. He doesn't even want it. He grabs the rice that the first guy was supposed to have. And this bag of rice is covered in blood. This guy's blood. He grabs the rice and he leaves. He takes it to that guy's family and he gives them the rice. And I guess he tells them what happened because the family starts crying they're at the table. So now Ip Man is on the general's radar now. So now he wants to see him fight again. But Ip Man doesn't want to fight anymore. So he found out what's going on with this quote unquote fight club. Right. And the general wants him to fight. He doesn't want to fight. Meanwhile, that guy who came in before, who was challenging all of the different schools, he returns. He comes back. And he's terrorizing everyone again.
Lin or whatever his name is. What was his name? Lin or something? The one that had brought out the sword the first time.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. He comes back and he's terrorizing the people at the meal. And man, I really can't remember. Something significant happened, and I'm losing. I got a blank. I can't remember what happened.
Well, how far are you into the movie? Because I quit watching it like 35 minutes.
Yeah, this is like the halfway point right there. It's at the halfway point. At this point, Ip Man's brother gets beat up, And Ip Man's brother comes to Ip Man and says, "Look, I need you to train us to help us protect ourselves." Ip Man doesn't really want to at first, but he says, "Come work here at the mill and train everyone who works here." So that's what he decides to do. And his son, Ip Man, so Ip Man's nephew was his first student, but he trained everyone together. They all got trained, everyone, so they could protect themselves. So when those guys come back again, they were able to protect themselves, and they beat the guys up. Ip Man fought that guy again in front of everyone, and he beat him up in front of everyone, and he ends up leaving. He ends up taking off. Now, because of that fight, the general now knows where Ip Man is. So he sends his troops there to get Ip Man to bring him back to the arena to fight. Now Ip Man starts to go in some type of hiding because he doesn't want to fight. But the military, they came and they were terrorizing the people because they wanted Ip Man. And when word got back to Ip Man what was going on, he runs down there and tells them, "Leave everyone alone. I'm here. I'll go with you guys." And they end up taking him. He goes back to the arena and he ends up fighting the general, pretty much. He fought the general. He beat him up. He won his fight. And then the general second in command shoots him.
What?
He shoots him. And everyone was there for the fight too. Because as soon as he gets shot, all hell breaks loose. And they jump over the barricades. They start fighting with the Japanese military. Some people grabbed that second in command. So I can't remember who grabbed him. And they ended up killing him. And then they took care of Ip Man and they rushed him out of the town and bandaged him up. And then after that, it was pretty much just saying what all he went on to accomplish, telling us that he survived the gunshot, and where he went, and he eventually opened up a school and he started teaching. And they said that he taught all of these other martial artists. So, and then eventually Bruce Lee. So, I mean, I got into the movie, so it was pretty cool. Once you get past the subtitles and you just kind of get used to reading it, but the subtitles were moving quick because I'm reading the subtitles and I'm looking at the screen, look down, look back up at the screen, and if you miss, because I know I missed some of the conversations that were going on, right. And I was just like, well, I just assumed that I would catch it again when I do my second rewatch, but that didn't happen. So everything I just said is off of my first run at the movie. So if I made a mistake, I'm sorry. Hopefully, if you guys watch the movie or the movie, you like it, enjoy it, send us a message on the Martial Arts Internet Network on our Facebook page under our link for this podcast, and let us know where I messed up, what I forgot, what you thought of the movie. But that was pretty good off the top of my head, huh, Mike?
Yeah, man. I mean, you kept me interested. I mean, yeah, it was weird listening to you describe the movie and me having quit watching it like the 35-minute mark.
Mm-hmm.
I might have quit at like 40 because I was in it pretty far.
Yeah. So, but yeah, man.
I was at work watching it. I'm not gonna lie. So I had none but time, and I couldn't even. I would rather did work. I think it's just my brain, man. Honestly, it's my brain. Just, I mean, I can't imagine like Alex watching movies with subtitles.
I don't think Alex would put up with that. Mm-mm. I don't think he would.
He's just so his mind's like a squirrel, man. Just I was just on their podcast, because I do my podcast catch up. Like I listen to everything one day when I'm at work. I catch everyone's podcast up.
I listen to when they drop it.
Do you? Yeah, I don't. I wait from that. Like I do one day at work. I got some extra time, and I listen to all of them then. But yeah, man, it was unique listening to you describe it though. But it was a different experience. I mean, I get it though. I can picture it in my head. So you do a good job with the narrative, especially with no notes. So that's good.
So let's talk about your movie, the one that you like that I absolutely cannot stand, man. This
man.
I told you, man, it was Bloodsport, it was Kickboxer, it was Fearless Tiger, all rolled up in one.
How was it Fearless Tiger?
Because at the very, very beginning of the movie, Jean-Claude Van Damme's brother is killed by some drug dealers. That is exactly what happened in Fearless Tiger.
They set his ass on fire.
Yes, and that's crazy. At the beginning of the movie, this guy is a drug deal going on. And the guy tastes the drugs and he said it's sugar. And he's like, oh yeah, it is. And then they just dose him with gasoline and set him on fire. I'm like, where was the problem? Like, what is going? Why are y'all killing him? Like, what happened? And that was it. They lit his ass on fire. He tried to run away. You just see a man looking like the Human Torch running around. He ran into a brick wall. He fell down. Yeah, and they took him to the hospital. He's all burnt. He looked like Two-Face from Batman, except for it's all over. It's all over him. He's burnt up all over, man. And what I noticed, I said, Jean-Claude Van Damme is the Tyler Perry of martial arts movies. Because because all of Tyler Perry's movies are the exact same movie, just remixed.
Man.
It's the exact same thing. That's what this movie was. And I have not finished watching this movie yet. I've only watched the first 55 minutes of this movie. And I fell asleep on 10 minutes of it at the very beginning of the movie.
Lord, you must have had something in you, man.
No!
Oh, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
I noticed this watching it. The dude was laying there in the hospital like crispy, burned up, his brother. Leon. And he's calling for his brother in the hospital in pain. Now, this is how bad the symmetry is back then. Did you notice how crispy white his teeth are?
No, I didn't.
Man, crispy white teeth and skin looking like Freddy Krueger. I was like, man.
Yeah, he did. He looked bad, man. He looked horrible. And he's screaming out for his brother. I don't know, I mean, I was like, oh, this is so corny, it's so cheesy, and why do I have to watch this?
There was some bad parts, man. I forgot about a lot of it. Like, so the next scenes, it shows the wife, or his brother's wife and the daughter, and, they talk about insurance, long story short. They talk about the insurance and how they're going to pay for it, and they're falling on hard times.
Right.
She sends a letter to Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Does she?
Leon. Yeah,
Does
she sends a letter.
Okay, let me ask you this. Before you get there, because I remember he has the letter because he's in the military. He's in North Africa, right? Yeah. And I put
he's in the French Legion.
Yes. Okay, but they not acting like it seemed like he was a prisoner.
I think he was like in the military, like the brig, like the military police. But it was confusing because when the guy came up with the letter, they rolled up on like the golf cart or whatever it was. He was like messing with him, acting like he was going to stab him. Remember?
Yes, I do remember that.
I've been to some places. If you act like that with a security guard or a det, you're getting fucked up.
Well, I mean, that's pretty much what seemed to happen after that, because after that, it seemed like, they had a problem with him. Because he ends up running away and escaping the French, what do you call them, legionnaires?
It's the French Legion. It's like the French Foreign Legion. It's like the France's version of the army.
So he ends up running away and, getting away from them. He ends up stealing a Jeep or something.
But first he had told them he has to leave.
Right.
So this is the part that made me think he wasn't a prisoner. And he said, you only have 6 more months in the Legion. Basically, the colonel said, or whoever he was, the head guy in charge, basically said that your ass is mine for the next 6 months. You're not going home. And then he called him an asshole, legitimately called him an asshole. And then he started fighting him and like his 2 top goons. And he broke out.
Right, and he ran away just like he did in Bloodsport.
Yeah.
He runs away. He escapes these guys, and he runs toward the ocean. And they know where he's going because I guess from where they were, there was no other place for him to go. So somehow he ends up getting on some type of boat or something, and
carrier coming to the United States.
And they were treating him like a slave, At one point in time, they told him not to come up to the top level, and he comes up anyway, and they're screaming at him
I think he was just a stowaway, and they took him to load that that oven, that burner thing, that engine burner, you know. So
he eventually gets to the United States. He gets to New York. Now he was under the impression that he was going to Los Angeles, right?
Yeah.
So he wasn't happy when he gets to New York. Now this is the part where I dozed off, Mike. Right here, because I don't remember what else happened, but I was asleep for a long time. I was asleep for maybe 5 to 10 minutes because when I woke up, he was fighting, and it was like at a, I don't know where he was. It looked like he was like at a bus stop. I thought, a train station or something.
So yeah, he was. And then he walks around and he's kind of like walking through like a homeless section. The people are kind of looking at him weird, and he's kind of trying to make his way. And then it shows like a subway scene, and you can he's kind of above it, and underneath the stairs and stuff, you can see where there's like some action going on, and a crowd has went around. Mm-hmm. And he goes down there, and he that's where he sees Joshua for the first time.
Yeah,
and Joshua is like kind of like the.
And did he remind you of anybody? Did he remind you of anybody? Because he reminded me a whole lot of the black guy that was in Kickboxer with him.
I knew you were gonna say that.
I was like, what is he like? I swear to God, Mike, like Jean-Claude Van Damme said, okay, I'm gonna take my script from Bloodsport, I'm gonna take my script from Kickboxer, and I'm just gonna remix them, and I'm just gonna make a whole nother movie with these same elements that might have already been in one of these other 2 movie scripts that got edited out. And I'm just gonna take these and put these and make a new movie.
Hey, you have Basic Form 1, Basic Form 2, Basic Form 3. They're all basically the same, right?
Right.
You Tungsudo, you have Gicho 1, Gicho 2, Gicho 3s. It don't matter. Heian 1, it don't matter.
But you're not supposed to do that, man. Like I said, he is Jean-Claude Van Damme is the Tyler Perry of martial arts movies. Man. That's who he is, right? So go ahead. So he sees this fight club thing.
So he sees this fight club, and they need. Let me know when you wake up, because I'm not the storyteller. That's your job. He sees Joshua, and he kind of goes down, and he sees that they're fighting for money.
Yeah.
And he already knew it was going to cost some money to get to L.A.
Yeah. Okay.
So he's seen they're fighting, and he said, "All right, who's next? Who's next?" And he stepped up, and he stands there, and then out of the blue, another guy comes up and says, "I'll fight," and he ends up beating the guy up. Joshua obviously is intrigued, because I think this guy was kind of like the man for this like little fight scene in this town, and he asked him in New York. He asked him what his name is, and he was like, "My name is Leon." He was like, "Oh, Lionheart, King of the Jungle."
And this is why I woke up.
He names the King of the Jungle there. And he explains to him he's kind of trying to get to L.A. And he's like, "Oh, well, I can get you to L.A." So then Leon is intrigued to, communicate and have a relationship with Joshua based on the fact that he said he could get him to L.A.
Right. So, Mike, at any point in time, have you ever met a stranger and just decided, okay, buddy, I'm going to go with you to a whole nother state, cross country? And have you ever done that?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Why? Like you don't worry about stranger danger, huh, Mike? You don't worry about stranger danger.
I went to Woodstock '94 with some people I didn't know.
How did you meet these people? And how did you meet them? And why? Why would you?
We went to Central Michigan to hang out, and they were like, "Hey, we got me and my friend." And they're like, "Hey, we got 2 extra tickets to go." We went with these college people.
Okay, Mike, I'm gonna tell you something. You know what? Okay. I don't care. I don't care about that. I'm gonna tell you something, Mike. And Were all of these people white?
No,
They weren't. The people that you linked up with, they weren't.
not all of them. No.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you something. When I was in college, one time, my second year, I had just moved into my dorm, and I'm unpacking. I'm putting stuff where I wanted it to be. I had my own, my own dorm room, a single room, and I had a knock on the door. This is, like I said, like my second year, so this was in the first couple of days, right? I heard a knock on the door. It's the RA, and he came in. He introduced himself, and he had a whole bunch of other people with him, right? And he said, "Hey, how you doing? My name is such and such. What's your name?" I said my name. He said, "Well, a bunch of us are about to go tubing. Do you want to go with us?" And I said, "What is tubing?" And he said, "Oh, we're gonna put you in the tube and push you down the river." I said, "No, the hell you not. I'm not going with I'm not going with y'all." It was not one black person there. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what was happening. They were already, being in Big Rapids, Michigan.
You was about to be the star at Get Out.
Yeah, man. There was no way I was going with these strangers, and they was gonna put me in a tube and push me down the water. I had never heard of tubing. Now I know what tubing is because
those white people were gonna kill you.
I wouldn't have been, and I wasn't gonna allow that to happen to myself if I could help it. I probably would have had to go get Ski. They're like, "Hey, man, we about to go tubing." Like,
Ski would have went.
He probably would have. Ski probably would have
went.
Yeah, he probably would have went.
He's crazy.
He's a lot nicer and more friendlier, than I am to strangers.
He went to the gutter with me in some places like we shouldn't have been.
So yeah, I most definitely believe that Ski would have went tubing with these people, but not me. I had never heard of it, and I can't swim. I can't swim one bit.
I miss that about Ski, man, being young. Like, Ski would talk you into doing some shit you shouldn't be doing. Like, we come out of the club one time in Pontiac. I couldn't feel, like Travis said, I couldn't feel my face. I couldn't feel nothing. And I knew I shouldn't have been driving. He's like, "No, we're good. We're good."
Yeah. That sounds like Ski.
We were going to get something to eat, and he was behind me. He said, "Yo," he called me. I'm like, "What the fuck you called me for?" Like, I can't concentrate, man. And he says, "You're driving in the turn lane." I was like, "Oh shit." He gets you to do some stuff you're not supposed to do.
He's gambling too. That's Oakland County, man. County, like they don't play when it comes to drunk driving, man. They put Jalen Rose. I think Jalen Rose had to do some time, and I think Ben Wallace did also.
Oh yeah, Ben Wallace did also.
Yeah. That judge out there does not play about drunk driving. So yeah, man, it's a good thing he did call you because you would have heard whoop 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 whoop. You would have been asked to be pulled over. Okay, so quickly, so they go from New York to LA. Now there was a female that they met. This female was in New York, right?
Yeah. But she has the contact. She's kind of like, I guess it was. So the way I did was like, I guess it was just a bunch of like regional promoters, and then they have like a world champion. It reminded me of regional wrestling. So like Ric Flair is your world champion, but he goes to all the territories and fights.
Right. NWA, right.
Yeah, because this Attila guy was the champion.
Okay. I don't know who he is yet.
Yeah, that's right. He looks like me right now.
Okay. So they so he asked her to go to New York, but she was interested in other things with him. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have no idea how he got to New York. Like, what did they do? Like I was confused watching this because I had been asleep. So in my head, I'm trying to figure out what the hell did I miss? What the hell happened?
You must have missed a whole section because after that fight, Joshua takes him to like this penthouse where she's at,
right?
And he introduces and says, "Hey," it's kind of like her side guy or her main like guy, like her assistant, and obviously he says, "Hey, haven't seen you in a while." That lets you believe that Joshua has a history with him. Mm-hmm. And he says, well, she's not seeing nobody. He says, no, she needs to see me now, and kind of refers to Leon. And so she goes up there, and he kind of introduced them, and then they
I don't remember any of this.
Yeah, they kind of line up another fight for him in the garage, and she comes so she can watch.
Okay.
And she's there, and he beats the guy up, but then he also kind of gets in an altercation with one of the bettors, I guess you will, one of the guys that are betting, and he's like kind of like he could whoop that guy. And Leon doesn't do anything to him, but kind of grips him up. And then the lady, I forget her name, she used to actually be on Dallas, the TV show Dallas.
I thought she looked familiar because I used to love Dallas, but I could not think of I was like,
she was J.R. Ewing's secretary.
Okay.
Man, you used to watch Dallas?
Yeah, man, I love Dallas, man. I got the first 3 or 4. No, I got the first 5 seasons on DVD downstairs.
See, man, you're like the only other person besides me that likes Dallas.
Man, JR was my homeboy. Yeah. I even watched the new Dallas show when it was out a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then she says, she'll help him get to LA. And she was like, you want to get to LA? I'm kind of like the ticket. I'm the one that's going to get you to LA.
And he ended up getting some money, right? For that fight.
Yeah,
$5,000?
He got $5,000. So, yeah, you woke back up.
Okay. And then that's what he used to get out to LA.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, no, he just kind of goes out there. And
that is so how they got out there.
Well, in the meantime, you got to say that his old commander from the French Legion has sent those 2 goons to follow him in America and try to find him because they know he's going to the sister.
How do they know? Oh, yeah, okay. How did they know that?
They had the address from the letter.
They just memorized it.
They had the envelope.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna rewatch it, but you know. So they ended up going out to LA, and
he goes to the hospital.
Yeah, he goes to the hospital, but he was too late. He found out that his brother had already passed. And that's why I was just wondering, why is Joshua still hanging around? I know that he wanted him to keep fighting. I know that, and I'm assuming that was the whole plan. Anyway,
Joshua's getting paid too.
Okay.
Remember, Van Damme had paid him like a cut.
Okay, I missed it.
They kind of said because the lady, I forget what her name is in this movie, says. You'll have to discuss with your manager. And he's like, manager? And he was like, yeah. And so then
So that's why he went with him out to LA. Lion really doesn't really want to fight, but Joshua's main purpose is to get him to eventually become a fighter. So he's going to hang around with him long enough that he can eventually convince him to become a fighter and fight for them. Right.
Correct.
Okay, I got it. Okay, because that wasn't making any sense. I'm like, why is this stranger that he just met just hanging out with, like in Kickboxer, when he ended up meeting what was that guy's name that he met? I can't remember that guy's name.
Yeah,
I can't. I don't even have my notes in front of me.
The army guy, the old ex-army guy.
Yeah, when he ended up meeting him, that guy did, he was still doing his own thing, but he had a reason to be connected to Van Damme in that movie. This guy, to me, he didn't have a purpose. I'm like, why is this some stranger that he just met off the street, and this guy is just some reason connected to him? It was just weird to me. Like I said, I dozed off though, so maybe it made more sense to me when I rewatched this part. But let's finish this up because we're almost done with what I saw of this first part of this movie. So, so they're in LA, they're in California, and they ended up going to a bar. Did something happen? Did they go to that bar right after they left the hospital?
Yeah, but you kind of missed the part.
Okay.
The reason why he was just going really to see his brother.
Right.
But the doctor tells him that the niece and his sister-in-law are broke and they have a bunch of medical bills.
Okay.
So that the next scene, he kind of goes there to see her and tries to give her some of the money that he has won, and she refuses and says,
you know what? I thought that happened after. Okay.
Yeah,
so he meets her, and he actually overhears her landlord yelling at her because she is, late on the rent. And he comes down the stairs and he asks him if he lives there, and he told him he didn't. Then he goes upstairs and he talks to her. And I was kind of surprised that she didn't want to take anything. Like, you were about to lose your place, pretty soon. You got all these medical bills and everything too. But so she was upset with him that he was in the military.
Yeah.
Right. So, and she also blamed him for. I don't even think we even got the brother's name, did we? But she blamed him for being in the street life.
Yeah, and he had told her then that he couldn't handle going away.
Right.
So that he kind of did it for him.
Yeah, because didn't they get in trouble with the authority or something?
Mm-hmm. And she said he told her that her husband couldn't have did no time.
Right.
That he wasn't strong enough to do time.
Right.
That would have killed him.
Right. Well, so he ended up leaving. He was upset. Things didn't go the way he wanted them to go. And he ends up at the bar. Joshua takes him to the bar to get drunk. And then in the bar, he tells him he's gonna go make a call. He makes a phone call. And then next thing you know, they're going outside. A limo pulled up. They get in the limo. He takes them. I thought it was a hotel that they went to, but I'm starting to think that was maybe an apartment.
It was like a penthouse.
Okay.
Cynthia.
That's her name. Okay.
Cynthia.
So that was her penthouse also, which we didn't know at first. Mm-hmm. So he goes in there. Joshua has a place right next door to that penthouse, that room. So he goes to sleep in that room. Lion goes to sleep in that room. When he wakes up, Cynthia's there. She's working out. He doesn't have any clothes on. Who could take off your clothes and you not know? But he was drunk. But when he walked into that room, he didn't seem like he was that drunk. And that passed out, like, she took everything off. You did not feel that at all? Nothing? The pants, the underwear, the socks, shirt.
And they never say if anything happens. But the way she acts later on, nothing happens. Nothing happened.
Yeah, because, so she tells them that, I threw your clothes away or burned them or whatever, and I'm going to take you to go get some new clothes. They walk around and do some shopping. And I'm thinking the whole time, like, she doing all of this just to convince him that, to be one of her fighters or something, just to fight. She's trying to, groom him to be a fighter or something. I didn't know.
She wanted something.
Yeah, because so she does all of that, and then the next day, was it the next day or later on that day?
Well, he still hadn't agreed to fight yet.
Right. Well, he goes out, he walks around, he's kind of following his sister-in-law. And, he sees that she's falling on hard times or whatever. Mm-hmm. When he comes back, he tells Cynthia that he's not going to stay in her room. He's going to stay next door with Joshua, Mm-hmm. But then also he tells her, he does agree to be a fighter. He was going to fight for her. But then he said that he wanted his own place, and the place that she had, the penthouse, was just too nice. He needed something a little more Rocky 3-ish. Right. When Rocky went to LA, Yeah. And then she snapped, and I was thinking, like, whoa, did I miss something? Because she was, she said something like, we should have kept this professional from the beginning or something like that. And I'm thinking, like, well, whoa, like, he has not made any advances toward her. He hasn't flirted with her. She has to him, and he's just kind of, pushed her to the side. He never really, fell into it with her. So I was thinking like, damn, is she bipolar or something? Like, what's her problem? Like, what's her issue?
I think she just obviously wanted something else.
Or I was thinking like maybe she was following him and saw him following, his sister-in-law, but she didn't know that was his sister-in-law. That's what I was assuming, because she seemed like she was agitated that he was somewhere else, looking at another female, and it seemed like she got a little jealous about that.
Yeah, she might have.
That's where I ended it. That's where I stopped. So I'm gonna watch the rest of this movie of Lionheart, and we can have part 2 next week. So this is what I'm gonna do, Mike. I am going to create a poll, and I want our listeners to vote on the poll to see what movie we watch next. All right. So what I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start doing. Would you say you don't like it?
I said I'm about that.
Okay, so what we're gonna do in advance, Mike, we're gonna have to talk to see what movie should be on the poll. I wrote down 3 movies that I think we should watch, but we could talk. We could text. I'm gonna say it right now, but we could text to see if you're gonna throw the challenge flag on any of these. So, I put The Last Dragon.
Should love it.
I put The Karate Kid.
Love it.
And I put Kill Bill.
It's okay.
Now, Mike.
It's not really martial arts to me, like the martial arts theme, but yes, see, I get it.
I'm going to tell you something about Kill Bill, Mike. This is just like Ip Man. Anytime people know that I'm a martial artist, they always assume that I've seen Kill Bill, and I'm like, I've never seen Kill Bill. So one time someone did put it on, and I watched it, and I fell asleep on it. When it is a point in this movie, it turns into a cartoon, right?
I believe so. When did that come out? Like 2009?
No, Kill Bill has been out
before that.
Yeah, I think that came out maybe in maybe 2000 or 2001, something like that.
That old? I don't remember. I know it's like cartoonish or
2003. It came out 2003. Okay, 2003.
Man, our producer's on it, man.
So yeah, man. So let's see what people say, man. Let's see what let's see what they say. So I'm gonna put this poll out, people.
Hopefully they say Last Dragon.
I don't care. I really don't care.
Hey, don't you feel tougher after you watch The Last Dragon, though?
No.
Man, I just feel like I be getting my hands like.
I feel you should.
Like, look at me right here. Look at me right here. Look at these moves right here. Last Dragon. Getting my power up.
You should feel weaker. You should feel weaker because because we don't get the glow. We will not glow.
Oh, I can. Look at me.
So if you fight Leroy,
I fought Danny Dixon before. And I hit him with some shit like this. Just like this. Pa!
Yeah, he did used to have that hair just like Shown Up.
Like, that's who I thought it was.
Yeah.
No disrespect to
he had the hair and the mustache. He had the hair and the mustache back in the day.
Yeah, he looked just like him. No disrespect.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, you say no disrespect, you can say whatever you want.
I mean, I'm probably quite sure he probably did that on purpose, though. Like Brian Paz. Like Paz used to walk around looking like Scott Steiner.
He did that. Wanted to look like Scott Steiner.
I saw him a few years ago. It had to been. I was in music, so it had to been like in 2000. It might have been 2006 or 2007.
Where were you at? That's what I got to ask myself.
I was in Pontiac, and I was with Trick Trick, and we went to a club, and Paz was there, and Paz was roped off.
You were at 7.
He was roped off in the VIP section, and I was listening to people. They really thought he was Scott Steiner, and I'm like,
God.
Like this dude is like what 5'5". He is not Scott Steiner. Like y'all should know that this is really not Scott Steiner, even though he's in here looking like he had the chain thing on his head. He had the sunglasses on. Like he looked like he was sitting there in VIP looking like Scott Steiner.
I used to see. So my buddy owned that club.
Okay.
In Pontiac, and I used to see him at like in the VIP section all the time.
Yeah. Okay. So
yeah, he was there. I know where it was at.
Yeah, and I'm I'm thinking like I dapped him up and said, "What's up, man?" I'm thinking like you really out here pretending to be Scott Steiner, because he was not saying he wasn't Scott Steiner. He wasn't saying he wasn't him. You know. So all right, people, that is going to be our podcast for this 4th of July. You guys be safe. You know, enjoy that barbecue. What you like, Mike? You like ribs? You like chicken? Like, what do you like? What's your favorite?
Ribs, chicken, steak.
All of it, huh? You barbecuing?
Mm-hmm. For sure.
You know what, Mike? I don't know how to barbecue.
What?
No, I don't. My dad does all the barbecuing.
Travis can cook, though.
Yeah, Travis always wanted to cook, though. You know, or
so who does the grilling?
My dad.
Oh no! Like if your dad's not, like if you're just throwing something.
My dad is always here. My dad is always on the grill.
Wow.
Yeah, he doesn't. Him and my uncle Rodney barbecues. Him and my dad they actually do competitions together. They do barbecue competitions together. And my lady, she's actually been asking. She asked my dad questions and wrote down stuff. So I know I'm going to have to start barbecuing, because I can't have her doing the barbecuing when she moves in here. So I was thinking about buying a little grill and practicing, man. But honestly, man, I don't know, man. I'm just not the type of person that like to cook or want to cook. That's just not me. That's not me. That's not me.
So you don't care about how your food is prepared?
I pray over it, and I think that God is going to protect me with however it was prepared.
What the fuck?
No, really though, man. I mean,
I probably make better ribs than you, man.
Yes, because I never made any ribs. So of course you made better ribs than me.
Travis, I'm gonna get Travis on here. Travis, what do you marinate your ribs in?
Well, I do a rub. I got a different rub that my dad.
You don't marinate it first in anything and then do a rub?
I do a dry rub and just let it sit overnight in the rub.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I just do it. I may just do it like 3 or 4 hours before it, and then just let it sit for like 3 or 4 hours in the refrigerator, and then take it out, put it at room temperature, and then put it on the grill.
All right, listeners, just so you know what happened, we were speaking French to Gene right now. He's thinking we massage the meat all night.
No,
just
man.
Rub the meat down. Come on, man. What about sides? Do you cook sides?
I do a lot of different sides on the grill. I like the vegetables. Huh?
No, I'm talking to your brother. I'm talking to Gene.
Oh, Gene don't cook. Gene eat tacos and gyros every other day.
Hold on. You have lived by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
What did you eat?
I'm living by myself now. No, man. No. I haven't been to Taco Bell in a long time.
Gene, hold on. You live by yourself right now. Your lady don't live with you.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Every now and then.
We're getting personal on the podcast right now.
That's cool, man.
It's cool. All right. It's cool. I'm not trying to call you out. I'm just trying to understand it.
Uh-huh.
So, it is now Wednesday.
Yeah.
What have you ate from Monday through Wednesday?
Yesterday I had corned beef. Yesterday.
From where?
From Lou's Deli.
Okay, that's not. I mean, that's okay. You're getting okay. Keep going.
Monday. I don't remember what I had Monday. I don't remember what I had. I have no idea.
He didn't cook, is what he's saying, but he just goes and gets something to eat from.
No,
Gene, that's so unhealthy.
No. That's not true. That's not true. I can take a picture of my refrigerator right now, and in my fridge, you're gonna see a bunch of vegan food. You're gonna see a bunch of vegan food. You're gonna see a bunch of.
Don't do it.
What? What do you mean?
That vegan shit.
No, I don't mind. I've been eating vegan food for years. At
Listen,
least
man, I lost so
at
much
least
weight, and then I said, okay, I'm gonna get over the hump and lose some more, and I put on weight with the vegan shit because it's
no. I
so
mean,
high on carbs.
yeah, you got to know how you. I mean,
Man, I know
you
how
got to
to
know
do
how to
it.
do it.
I know how to do it, and I did it right, and I started losing some of my gains, and I went back to it. I gave it
Uh,
up.
so, number one, I do go to vegan restaurants. Typically, when Lent comes around during Lent, I normally
Right.
just eat vegan food for Lent. But I also like I don't eat hamburger. If I'm gonna eat a hamburger, I eat the vegan grillers. So I
Those are
don't
good.
eat. Yeah, so I eat those. I also get the chicken ones. I got the chicken nuggets. Those are all good. There's nothing nasty
Oh
about
no,
them.
they're good.
They taste regular, right?
It wasn't the taste for me; it was the carbs and the weight I was putting back on. The food was great.
When I get Thai food, I get the tofu Thai.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so
So you eat out a lot.
well, yeah. Well, yeah, because okay, so if I'm going to cook, if I'm going to cook, I'm going to have to cook on Sundays because Sundays is the only day where I have enough time to cook. I leave the house at 7 o'clock in the morning, and I don't get done with work until 7 or 8 o'clock at night. So I'm not going to cook at 8 o'clock at night so I can eat at 10. That's
No,
just
I
not gonna
get it.
happen. You know.
Well, aren't you
So
afraid Champ's gonna be over and be like, "Daddy, I want a burger on the grill"?
no, I don't have to worry
You'll be
about
like,
that.
"No, no, son, we're going to Burger
No,
King."
I know how to make hamburgers, but Champ does not like homemade hamburgers.
What about the
Champ
son?
Champ does not like homemade hamburgers. Champ is a picky eater, but now he was a picky eater, I should say. Now he's starting to get a little out of hand. You know, the other day he said, "Daddy, can you fix some crab legs?" I said, "What? Crab legs?"
Where's he hanging out at?
With his mama. With his mom and his brother. So
Oh my lord,
I told him like, Champ, Daddy does not make crab legs. That's that's not gonna happen.
crab
You know,
legs.
pick something else. But you know, I there's certain stuff that I cook. Like I've cooked for my lady. You know, she loves that. That gives me points because I don't cook that often. So when I do cook, she's like, "Oh shit," you know. So yeah, so I've cooked for her. I've cooked different
What did
things.
you cook? All right, man, we're taking this shit over for a second. We got to end it. I know we're way over on time, but what did you cook?
I've cooked chicken. I've cooked steak for her. Um,
So you can.
I can cook certain things, but at the same time, if I know that she can cook better than me, why should I cook? We're gonna have a better experience if she cooks. The food is gonna taste a lot better.
Wow.
So hey, you know. So,
Hey,
but
if you and your lady ever split up, you better never hope your new lady sees this shit.
So no, man. Like I'm counting down, man. I'm counting down. You know, so you know, next year this time I'm probably gonna be married next year this time. So
Hey, if I get invited, I'm not eating the food unless
man,
I know it's catered.
I don't know,
I'm gonna hope
man.
your dad barbecued it.
I'm gonna say something, man. Okay, I probably shouldn't say this on the podcast. I don't know how many people are going to be at this wedding when we get married. She doesn't really. We both been married before. So she is like, you know, she doesn't really want us to spend a lot of money on a wedding because she's like, I don't want to spend $5,000 to $10,000 for other motherfuckers to eat. We could take that $5,000 to $10,000 and put it in the house. We could take $5,000 to $10,000 and go get these vending machines we was talking about, and then putting these vending machines in buildings and things like that. So she's real money conscious. So she's like, we don't. She's like, we both been married before. She was like, if our parents are there and our kids are there, that's it. We don't really have to have anybody else because between me and her, even if we just had the immediate family, we both could have 200 people,
Oh
and that's
wow.
not friends. That's immediate family. You know that is
Wow.
uncles and aunts and cousins. So she's like, that's a lot of people. So when you start putting friends in it, also,
right?
It just blows up, and it's for one day. And we have both been married or had a wedding before, So she's
I
like,
didn't know you were married before.
I was married for 4 months. That is a whole nother conversation we are not going to get into today. We not about to add. No. We not about to turn this into fist kicks, flicks, and chicks. We not about to. We not about to have these conversations.
I bet you our ratings would go through the roof, though.
All right, so I'm gonna put this poll together. Okay, so you gotta choose The Last Dragon, The Karate Kid, or Kill Bill. I'm gonna put this out there. You guys are gonna have a week to decide which movie we watch. So by the time next week rolls around at this time, we'll have the finale for Lionheart, and then we'll look at the poll to see which movie won, and then we'll watch. That'll be our next movie. Okay.
All right.
You got anything close to say, Mike?
4th of July.
What's that? I don't know, people, what that was. I don't know what Travis is doing on the producing side of things. I know you've been having some audio issues and Skype
dating. That's that Skype dating he's doing.
All right. So that's it for Fist Kicks and Flicks for the 4th of July. You got anything you need to say, Travis?
No.
All right, everybody. Y'all have a good one. Stay safe, stay strong. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.